Yo, what is good, y'all? Welcome back to another JC2K video. Today we are going to be going over my Season 5 predictions for what cards that I could see us getting for different rewards, token rewards, things of that matter. So before we hop into the video, if y'all could hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We are on that grind to 200 subscribers, trying to work toward monetization slowly but surely. You can always unsubscribe at any time, but if you enjoyed the video, it'd be much appreciated if you could subscribe. So first thing I want to say, before we hop into the predictions, is that these are all my predictions. All of them will probably be wrong. It's possible that all of them will be wrong, but they are predictions that I have made by looking at previous seasons' rewards for these different tiers, like for example the exchange cards, looking at the previous exchange cards and trying to follow the trends basically to see what type of card would be a good prediction for this season's reward for that basically that type of card. So hopping into it, starting with the exchange. Season 1 we got Bob Cousy, Season 2 was Elvin Hayes, Season 3 was Elton Brand, and Season 4 was Dan Issel. Now, common theme between all those cards, they're all historic cards, not so super desirable names, and none of these cards were all that great. Dan Issel was decent for his time, as was Bob Cousy, but none of them were ever great cards who made a difference in God Squads or anything like that. And honestly, in my opinion, none of them were ever really worth doing, and I don't expect that to particularly change this season, but I do expect that we will get our first Galaxy Opal exchange player this season, and that it will be a decent player. And my prediction for that is Cliff Hagan. Cliff Hagan's another one of those historic players. When he got a diamond earlier in the year, he was a decent card, came with Hall of Fame range, and I could see him being a decent card as well at his Opal tier. Probably a pretty good card. The thing is, he's 6'4", so he's kind of undersized at the shooting guard position, or definitely the small forward position if you were to try to play him there. And at this point in the year, I don't expect his defense to be that great or his athletic ability to be exceptional, so I would expect that the card probably won't be that great and probably won't make a ton of God Squads or anything of that sort, but I could see him being a decent card, possibly even worth locking in if you have a lot of pink diamonds saved up from previous triple threats and things like that in your unopened packs. So if you can do a card like Cliff Hagan for free, there is a chance that you might want to do that, especially if you're a budget player. But we'll have to see what happens and how good that card actually is if we were to get a card like Cliff Hagan. Now moving on to the Ascension Awards. In previous seasons, our Ascension Awards that we got were Bob Lanier, Bob Love, Connie Hawkins, and Bill Wall. Now, again, common theme with these cards, they're all historic cards, not huge names, and none of these cards were all that great. Connie Hawkins was decent the day he came out. All the other ones, honestly, in my opinion, have never really been that good, even when they were available. Never really game changers for any sort of team or anything like that, and were quickly outdated by other cards, like even if Bob Lanier, like day one, was like the top center in the game. Very quickly he became outdated when they released better cards in the game. So for that reason, I do expect that we will get another historic player, because I don't expect them to start giving us current players after we've had 4 seasons of historic players in a row. But I again don't expect it to be a super desirable name, although I could see it being a slightly better card than we've gotten in previous seasons. I do expect it to be an Opal similar to Bill Walton, and probably either a point guard or a shooting guard, because none of these players are point guards or shooting guards, and I do expect at some point they will try to give us a little bit more variety in the positions that we're getting. For that reason, my prediction for the Ascension Award would be Opal David Thompson. We got a pink diamond David Thompson earlier in the year. It was a decent card in Season 2 when he first came out, and I could see this Opal David Thompson being pretty good. He's got good speed, he'll have Hall of Fame showtime, be a really nice dunker. Again, he's a little bit undersized at the shooting guard position and not an incredible shooter or super fast with the ball, but I could see him being a decent card, and if you're a budget player, are lucky enough to get him on your Ascension board, I could definitely see him being a card that's probably relatively good on your team. But we'll have to see what comes in the Ascension Awards this season as well. Now, moving on to the Pink Diamond Token Awards. In previous seasons in the Pink Diamond Token Awards, the last few seasons, I feel like we've only gotten like one Pink Diamond Token Award. These are the Pink Diamond Token Awards that we've gotten this year. We got Bobby Jones last season, and he was a really good card, still a solid card. He's an elite defensive card, not a great shooter, but again, a solid card. And I believe that this season for the Pink Diamond Token Awards, we'll probably only get one Pink Diamond, and a player that I could see that being would be Jamal Wilkes. Again, all of these are historic players, so I do expect that all the Pink Diamond Token Awards will continue to be historic players, and Jamal Wilkes is the type of player that I could see us getting. He's another really good defender. He's not a huge name, so we won't sell a lot of packs, but the card again would probably be pretty good. Again, a little bit undersized, but similar to David Thompson, I could see him being a pretty good card for a budget option, and I could see them juicing up his stats and patches a decent amount considering we're going into Season 5 and making him a definitely solid card, and he'll probably be elite on the defensive end. Now, Moving on to where it really starts to get good, and that would be the Galaxy Opal Rewards. I did redeem Gary Payton this season, and we also got Bill Russell and Rick Barry in Season 4. And I do expect that we will probably get 2 or 3 Galaxy Opal Rewards again this season, and I expect that they could definitely be some decent cards. Gary Payton was a top 2 point guard in the game for a very long time, and is still a very, very good point guard, and honestly, usable at the competitive level. So I expect that we'll get 1 or 2 Opal Rewards that will be usable at a competitive level again this season. Now, my predictions for cards that we could see as Galaxy Opal Rewards. I have 3 predictions. I'm not sure if we'll get 3 Opals, but if we do, these are the 3 cards that I could see us getting personally. And those players are Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen's diamond, I did a gameplay on it a while ago. He was really good when he came out, one of the best diamonds in the game, and his Opal will likely have his release in quick, which is the release Byron Russell has. It's a really good release. Well, not really good release, but it's a pretty solid release. It's easy to green, and I could see Scottie Pippen just being a do-it-all monster. Like, he feels fast with the ball. He's obviously an exceptional defender. I could see Scottie Pippen basically being a budget-er Kawhi. Not quite as good as Kawhi, but I could definitely see him being really good because he'll probably be elite on the offensive end and absolutely exceptional on the defensive end, able to guard ball at a really high level for you, and probably a very viable card in a competitive setting. Another card that I could see us getting for the Opal Awards this season would be a guy like Moses Malone. Moses Malone is he's not the most desirable name. I know Moses Malone cards are never that good in 2K, and I don't expect that an Opal Moses Malone would be elite. I expect that he would be able to shoot the 3 pretty well. His release, I'm not honestly sure about because I never used the Pink Diamond Moses Malone that came out earlier this year, but I expect it's not an incredible release. But if they gave him a usable release that was pretty solid, I could see him being a decent card. I expect he'll have good speed, solid defensive stats. He is 6'9", so he's not super big at the center position, but I expect he'll be a good rebounder. He'll probably be able to shoot the ball decently, able to get all the badges that you need if you wanted to pick him up and badge him out. So I expect that a Moses Malone could also be a really solid card in the open token market. And then the final card that I could see us getting in the open token market would be a card like James Worthy. I know in previous seasons people have been waiting to get a James Worthy, and the James Worthy that we did get earlier this year was not that great of a card, unfortunately. But part of the reason that card was not that great was because of the release he had. He had the Chris Webber type release. I think it was base 22 with a weird upper. I could be wrong about that. But one thing I will say about Chris Webber is they changed his release. They also changed Andre Kirilenko's release and some of those other players who came out and started the year with janky releases, the prior like base 11 type cards. So I could definitely see them changing James Worthy's release and making him a really elite card, giving him a release potentially a base 98, Kemba Walker base similar to what Chris Webber has. A release like that, and if they were to do that to James Worthy, he could definitely be a really elite card because he has good size. He's 6'9", he'll be fast, he'll be able to dunk, he'll probably have half showtime, elite defense. He could definitely be a really high level card in my team, and if they change his release, make him a really good shooter as well, I could definitely see an Opal James Worthy being a really good card and potentially even playing on people's teams in the 250k tournament that's being played on Saturday. And definitely I would probably look to pick up a James Worthy if they gave him a good card, made his stats and badges look right, and changed his release. Now, moving on to the next thing that I could see us getting this season, and that's another Domination. Do I expect to get another Domination? Not 100%, but I think there's a decent chance that we do get another one, as I know that we will be getting at least 2 more Dominations this year to complete this 594 stars. That would require 2 more Dominations. So if we were to get a Domination this season, I would expect that it will probably be, I would say, similar to Anton Jameson, just be one set of Domination, 33 games. Probably have some sort of theme to it like the Anton Jameson did with a heat check, and a reward card that I could see us getting from Domination. And this is a little bit of an odd prediction because I know that all these players are historic players. We have gotten some newer historic players like Jameson though, and I think we might get a current Domination, and the reward being a card like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shai has been in he's been in need of a card for a really long time. He's been playing really well on the Thunder, having a great year, just like he had a great year last year. I think he's one of the more underrated players in the league, just because a lot of people don't watch the Thunder. But Shai needs a card really badly. He has good size. He'd probably be a point guard, shooting guard. You could play him at the point guard position at 6'6". If he has a good jumper, I haven't used a Shai card this year, so I don't know what his sigs and jumper are like. But I assume if they gave him a good jumper and good sigs, he could be a really solid card, again, like Jameson, where if you get him early in the season, he's a really good player on your team. And I I think for budget players especially, getting an Opal, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander would give you a good size, good defense at the point guard position, and just an all-around really good card that will allow you to compete with God Squads. And I'm hoping that we could get a card like that if we do wind up getting a Domination this season. Now, moving on to Limited. This season in Limited, we did have Russell Westbrook as the reward, and in previous seasons, the Limited rewards were, if I could find them, here we go, Jaylen Brown, Russell Westbrook, Aaron Gordon, and Ralph Sampson. Now, these last 3 limited rewards have been current players: Jaylen Brown, Aaron Gordon, Russell Westbrook, even though Westbrook was on the Thunder in his picture. But I do expect that we will probably get a historic player this season. And do I expect him to be a great player? I think it's possible. Jaylen Brown, when he came out, was a top shooting guard in the game. Russell Westbrook is solid. Aaron Gordon was also solid. Ralph Sampson was never good when we got him. But I think this season in Limited, I'm going to go out on a limb and predict that we're going to get a really nice card. And that card that I think we might get would be a card like Brandon Roy. Brandon Roy is a T-Mac clone. He's a couple inches shorter. But Brandon Roy has that same release, really good dunk package. He'll be a good defender. He'll probably have Hall of Fame showtime. He'll just be another one of those do-it-all offensive beasts who can play pretty good defense as well. And I would expect that we would get a card like Brandon Roy this season, potentially in Limited, because I think they're going to try to make Limited more viable, continue to make Limited viable for the budget players who are looking to pick up cards that allow them to compete with God Squads. Last season, we got Russell Westbrook, who was a solid point guard. Can be used in competitive. I guess I would probably use him in a competitive setting, but in terms of trying to build teams that allow you to compete in Limited, compete in Unlimited against God Squads, he's a card that's very useful for that. And I think Brandon Roy could be a very, very elite option that's probably would be similar to T-Mac in terms of stats and badges. Maybe not quite as good, but still very, very good for a budget player, and probably a really, really nice free card. Now, moving on from Limited, I'm going to go to Unlimited. And this season for Unlimited, we did get Kevin McHale. Now, Kevin McHale was a really, really, really good card when he came out at the beginning of the season. He was a top center in the game. I used him for a very long time. And I believe that we will probably get another good option in Unlimited this season. From season 1, we got Paul Pierce, who was a top card in the game when he came out. We got Iguodala. We got Patrick Ewing season 2, who I never used. I didn't like him very much. But then Iguodala season 3 was a good card when he first came out, and Kevin McHale was really, really nice when he first came out as well. So, my prediction for season 5 in Unlimited, and I know I should probably predict a guard because we haven't gotten a true guard from Unlimited yet, but we haven't gotten a Karl Anthony Towns card since he got his Amethyst, probably back in, was that October? We haven't gotten a Karl Anthony Towns card in a very long time. So my prediction for Unlimited this season would be a Galaxy Opal Karl Anthony Towns, which is a card that I know Ty Debo would love. I could see him being a very good center, probably on a very similar level to McHale. He'll probably have decent athleticism, be an amazing shooter. Maybe they speed up his release a little bit so it's a little bit better of a release. The question with him might be how fast he is and how good his defense is, but I could definitely still see him being a solid card, a card that would make a lot of God Squads, especially if you got him early in the season. It would definitely be worth grinding for in Unlimited. Now, my final prediction for this season is going to be the level 40 reward card. And for the last, pretty much this entire year, every single level 40 reward card has been worth grinding for. I have not grinded for all of them. I did not do Steph Curry or Blake Griffin, and at points throughout this year, I have regretted not doing those, even though now at this point, those cards are slightly outdated. But then we got Dwayne Wade, who was amazing. Dwayne Wade is a top card in the game. I picked him up, and he was the best point guard in the game, and you could still argue is the best point guard in the game, even after months, even after a couple of months of being out. And where is Dwayne Wade? I don't know. I don't know where the card is. I can't find him. Oh, he's in season rewards. My apologies. But we got Dwayne Wade. He was a elite option, obviously. Just a great card overall. I do expect that this season's card will also be really, really good. Then we got Kawhi. I was kind of stumbling over my words there for a second, so that's my apologies. But Kawhi is a top card in the game right now. Probably the best defensive card in the game. Arguably the best card in the game for some people, especially on next gen, but also on current gen at this point in the game. He's just an incredible card, and I don't expect that to change this season. I think that we will get another elite level card. And the one position that we have not gotten as a primary position for level 40 this year would be center. And I know I've predicted a couple of other centers for different spots throughout these rewards, but my prediction for level 40 would be Galaxy Opal David Robinson 98 overall. I don't expect that we'll get a Dark Matter this season, although I know some people do think we might get a Dark Matter, and if there is a Dark Matter and it was David Robinson, obviously I would be thrilled. I would grind for the card. I think he'd be phenomenal, but I think we'll probably get a 98 overall center for this level 40 season. I think it could also be Kareem, but I think the level 40 reward card this season will either be Kareem or David Robinson. And both of them I think will be exceptional. They'll both be able to shoot, be incredibly athletic, incredible defenders, just basically able to do it all on the court. I think Kareem could be really, really juiced as well. I know Kareem cards can't shoot until later in the year typically, but I think we're getting to that point in the year where if we get a Kareem for level 40, he'll probably have a decent three-pointer and be able to get the shooting badges that you need to make him a solid shooter. And overall, I just think that no matter who we get at level 40, they'll probably be an amazing card, definitely worth grinding for. And my personal prediction for level 40 is David Robinson, so we'll have to see what happens. And yeah, I think that's going to do it for the video. So to wrap up the video, I'm just going to go over real quickly my predictions for everything again, just to wrap it up. For the exchange, I predicted that we would get an Opal Cliff Hagan, and then for the Ascension Opal, David Thompson, and then Pink Diamond reward card was a Jamal Wilkes. Galaxy Opal token rewards would be like Scottie Pippen, Moses Malone, James Worthy, and then for Domination, I predicted a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. For Limited, Brandon Roy. Unlimited, Karl Anthony Towns. And level 40, David Robinson, although I could also definitely see Kareem in that spot. So that is going to do it for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment, let me know what you think I can do better in the future. And I will be back with another video very soon, probably get some gameplays out to you tomorrow for whatever the new content is, and potentially go over some stuff that comes out for Season 5. So I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll be back with another one very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.